Wake your asses up. It's another edition of TIO Al Friends, and this is an all baseball edition, except for the end. Obviously, we can talk some Knicks. I'm here with my friends, TIO Al Friends. What's going on? Pete Kennedy and Anthony Gallo. What's good, fellas?
What is good? We are back. Baseball season's off and running, and I'm fired up.
Now, we did a podcast last week, right? Why does it feel? Does it just me, or does it feel like a year ago?
It did. Well, it was a long time ago.
Whew. A lot has changed, I guess, in the world of Mets fans, huh? Oh my God!
A lot has changed, and thank God for Big Meat Pete yesterday.
You're welcome.
Whatever your wife calls you in the bedroom, that's your business. But what I'm saying is that if it wasn't for him yesterday versus the Marlins and Luis Torrens, aka Benito Santiago 2.0, the Mets will be coming back for the home opener tomorrow, 2-4. But I'll be at the home opener tomorrow. I know Gallo will. Pete, I don't know if you're going to be in the building.
I will.
You're working? Okay.
I'll be at the stand, though. Midnight. What's up?
Okay. All right. So you get to talk the opening day as well. So the Mets get the home opener. What do we think so far of the season? The Mets are 3-3. They should have taken two out from the Astros. It's a long season. Breaking news: no baseball teams gone 162-0, jabronis. And they go to Florida. Florida pain in the ass, and the Mets side forever. And the Mets are 3-3 coming home with my favorite pitcher of all time, Tyler McGill, pitching versus Kevin Gausman. So what do you guys think so far about the season 3-3, the positives and the negatives?
Well, I think first off, already off to a better start than last year. So right there, I think NLCS in the books. Here we come. But honestly, if you would have told me coming into the season, the bats started slow, but the pitching looked superb, I got to be honest, I'd be all for it, because I feel like every year, if you're not using a torpedo bat like the Yankees, like you're going to start slow. And that's not a shout out to torpedo bats, but like most offenses, I feel like get off to that slow start. We got a lot of guys like Lindor, Nimmo, Alonso, uncharacteristically not off to a slow start. But I'm pumped. I mean, the bullpen looks elite, and the starting rotation's been great. Outside of those two errors from Lindor, that made Senga's line look worse. They've been great.
It's Gallo, you're spot on. That whole point that the bats are slow, that's a win. That's the part that we trust. That's the part that we actually believe was good coming into the season. You have to give them some chances here. Just like the New York Yankees won't have a team OPS over 1,000 in a few weeks, the Mets won't have a team OPS in the bottom 8 of the league in a few weeks. These things balance out. And frankly, and I'm not trying to do this to dump on the Yankees, it's just a perfect example right now. They've been hot as anything so far this year. They can't stop hitting home runs. Like, if you look at some of the batting averages of these guys, like Volpe's batting average less than 200 until yesterday. So, like, you can't overreact on these statistics. You can't overreact on this stuff. If you want to start complaining about the approach of Mark Vientos, sure, we can talk about if he's trying too hard early in the season. I'm down to have that conversation. But the woe is me, the hardcore panic, it's just putting your energy in the wrong places, in my opinion. But the massive win is that the pitching looks like it is going to hit that upper echelon of our hopes, which is like not spectacular, but very solid. And that seems very realistic now, more realistic than it did before, last week.
Well, the thing I'm worried about, the pitching has been great. It's a long season. Showman I's got a setback, which sucks ass. I know he's been picked up, but he's going to be as long as he's in this rotation, if he's healthy, I think we'll be fine. But if he's not there, it's going to be a problem. We need him for the season, no doubt, especially after paying him the big bucks. Pete Alonso, I'm happy to see him get off to this start. Some people think that we were making love to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. before the season, Evan Roberts. But the truth is that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is a better player than Pete Alonso. 9 times out of 10, and right now it's that one time that right now Pete Alonso is killing it, and Vlad is not hitting the home runs like he's known for doing. Maybe he's putting pressure on himself the way Pete did last year. But this is about the Mets, man. Like, the bullpen's been great. I have one issue. Vientos, I think, will be fine. I'm fucking sick of Brett Beatty. I'm sick of him. He's gotten over 600 at bats. Don't give me this. The season just started shit. He's the greatest spring training player, the greatest AAA Mets player of all time. When it matters most, there's a dribble at the third, there's a dribble at the second, there's a dribble at the first. And look at his horrible throw to Terrence yesterday, who bailed his ass out. So he's all over the place. If I'm going to go down swinging with any of these youngsters, I'd rather Acuna. He brings speed to the table. He's a better fielder. He's more electric. He's exciting to watch. And he's going to give it his all. Like Josh Hader at bat was the perfect example. 12 pitch at bat, didn't bail out. Brett Beatty in the same series, 3-2, swinging and throwing at everything. So I can't with Brett Beatty. I gave him a chance this season because of another spring training. He's like the Jets of spring training, go undefeated, and then the regular season starts. I've had it with Brett Beatty. I'm ready to move on. And I don't care if it's even Jeff McNeil. Yes, Jeff McNeil.
That's crazy.
Wow. I got these words I did not expect.
I did not expect that last part either. Be that guy. The season did just start. It's my mic again, not sounding good. Yeah, all right. 1 second.
It goes out for like 1 second. Honestly, it goes out sometimes. Maybe if the wire gets loose, so you're good.
All right, but I gotta be honest. I think that I Spady, but I do want to be fair. Like I do want to say that if we're gonna go, might as well give Beatty a little bit more leash because McNeil's got a long leash too, and you out there.
I jinxed you, Gallo. I jinxed you. I said it wasn't that bad, and then it just was like pop, 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 pop. You're making good points, though. I'm sure.
The external mic then. For show now.
No, I know what you're saying about Brett Beatty, but he's had over 600 at bats, and he just doesn't have it. He doesn't. I see Jeff McNeil win a batting title. I'm not the biggest Jeff McNeil fan, but if you're gonna give me Beatty or Acuna, just give me Acuna. At least I know he's not gonna boot the ball in the field. I know he had the error in the first game of the season, but he's more exciting. He's more electric. He brings more to the table. If I have my choice out of all of them, though, I can't wait for Ronnie Mauricio to come back. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But right now, I'm done with that Beatty.
On the Beatty front, I'm kind of more on the Gallo side. I got to be honest here. I know that you are kind of skeptical going into the season, Al, and that's kind of pushing you to the part of like, let's get rid of this guy. I'm done. And I do feel more confident. I do feel more excited watching Acuna. Well, we're talking about 6-7 games right now, right? We're not talking about a lot of time here. We're talking about there's 3-3, right? 6 games. He's always started what? Like 3 or 4? Someone playing? Someone in the strip club over here? What's going on over here?
Whose music's going about?
Hector's in the background doing a dance party over here. What's going on?
It's probably my roommate.
Oh!
It's all good. I kind of liked it, to be honest.
I thought it was as long as it wasn't that opening for Pornhub. But go ahead.
But no, I just gotta if you gotta be realistic about what's going to happen, right? We could all say what we want to happen. We can say what we think they should do, but what I think will happen is you give Brett Beatty a little bit more leash. You see what happens. It's not like Luis Angel Acuna is batting 350 right now, right? He's still only 2 hits on the season. Yeah, he's had better at bats. Yeah, he seems a little more feisty up there. Yeah, he seems a little more locked in general, but he's not lighting the world on fire. It is very reasonable to continue some of the pitching platoon stuff that you're doing with the righty lefty for these 2 guys and just see how we feel in a few more weeks. Because right now, if you're going to start freaking out about everybody who's not hitting the ball, you're freaking out about a lot of people. So you can't do that just yet.
Yeah, I'm going to fight through the music for a second, but he likes his drum and bass. Shout out to Jared.
What's up, Jared?
But to Pete's point too, like the same way I get frustrated with people who overreact to the other levels of the team, like whether it's one pitcher, whether I get it, these guys have a track record like Lindor. It does, like, I can't give up on Beatty right now. And the other silver lining is, to your point, Al, he's not going to be on the team once McNeil's healthy. Acuna, even if he hasn't hit, he's shown at the plate he can battle off pitches. So, like, Beatty's fighting for his Mets career right now. So if he struggles, I don't think it'll cost the team too much in the long term, and he'll be gone.
Yeah, I've never saw it, and it bothered me that he got the most opportunity as all the quote unquote baby Mets. Mark Vientos was, up and down, hits a game winner, gets sent down to the minors, plays a game, doesn't play for 4. Brett Beatty continues to play, and he's done nothing. I read his numbers on my show last week. His numbers are horrendous. Over 600 plate appearances. I don't see it. Can you name me one memorable Brett Beatty at bat. Besides the home run he hit last year, all for lefty in April, we got pumped up. Give me another one. That's it.
It's the only one that came to my mind, actually.
That's it.
Well, he had the
Acuna in
one-
14 games. Yeah,
Didn't
Gallo?
he get the home run against the Braves when he first got called up? That's not really a good point, but
Yeah, I'm talking.
I was gonna say, Gallo, you're good. I put the noise cancellation, so you don't got to worry about your roommate in the background. You're good.
thank you.
Hector to the win
Yeah.
again. This guy's
Yeah,
great.
we can give him a wedgie. We can give Jared a wedgie later. But besides that, right? There's been nothing. Acuna in 14 games when he filled in for Lindor when the season was on the line, and he killed it. And he did more in 14 games than Brett Beatty's done his entire Met career. So that's why I'm willing to put Acuna out there every single game. And he brings the fielding, better fielding. He brings a speed element to this lineup, and he's exciting to watch. Brett Beatty's he's vanilla. He's bleh. It's like watching paint dry.
I do think that when they pinched hit for Acuna, I don't even think that was I think this is a better matchup. I think that's the wheel starting to spin in Mendoza's head that he's like, this kid's not performing. I'm going to show him a little bit of confidence, but like I'm also giving him the opportunity right now, and he's got to really take the reins.
Right. Try to inject some sort of like, hey, this is your moment. Don't think too much. You're going in right now. It's like the old adage of, the guy has the best bullpen of his life and then throws his worst start versus, the worst bullpen, you come out and you shove. Like it's a classic case, like mental gymnastics. Baseball players are weird like that. And that's the same concept or conversation we're having with Mark Vientos. A lot of people talking about, oh, you got to move him down in the order. Oh, you got to, drop him. You got to not drop him, but you got to drop him in the order or sit him for a day just to let him refresh and whatever. Typically, baseball players, you let them do that, you're just getting in their head worse. You're making them think about it even harder. Oh, man, I'm batting 6 now. I'm batting 8 now. When all of a sudden I'm not going to be starting anymore and I'm screwed. Sometimes I like the opposite, kind of like what Gallo just said. Put him back in there. Put him right back in the 3 slot. Put him 4, right? I always said that, I used to joke about this with Joey Gallo. I almost said Anthony Gallo. I remember once I was producing for Fliegelman, and it was the Joey Gallo era New York Yankees. And I was half joking, but I'm like, yo, put him 2 in the Yankees lineup. This guy sucks. He's doing nothing. Reverse Jedi mind trick him into being good again. And I'd rather do that with Vientos right now. I'd rather do that with Brett Beatty. Put him in the big spots. Because like Gallo said, the key point here, if he fails, we know who we don't need anymore. If he falls on his face, he's not part of this team moving forward. And figuring that out early is also important, is also a win.
Do you remember when, and it's not the same case because he hasn't shown as much as Conforto did at that point. You remember the year that Conforto, they were like, oh, he can't hit lefties. And the guy they decided to test him against was Bumgarner. And then they were like, well, we're not gonna play him against lefties. Then they did the same thing with Flores against righties. I'd rather watch this kid fall on his face and then ship him back to the minors than start to baby him and we never get a true answer. I think with Acuna, I would say all three of us feel the same way. And the fan base probably does. Even in his struggles, there's more confidence. And we kind of feel like he's a big leaguer. With Beatty, it's like we just want to have this turn the page. And then with Vientos, it's the same thing. I don't want to bench the kid and then kill his confidence. I do think, address the lackadaisical stuff, but you can do that while he plays. You do not have to make a example out of him. Look at what that did for Gleyber Torres. It really didn't. He was killing it, and he was the only one they held accountable for that. Because if you hold Vientos accountable for it, you better hold every single person on the team accountable for that.
Well, I think if it happens with Vientos again, they're going to sit him down. There's no question about it. Lindor already spoke to him. The infield coach already spoke to him. I'm sure the Tooth Fairy spoke to him. It is what it is. But to be fair, Gleyber Torres sucked. Yeah. Well, not when he was batting leadoff. I'll tell you that right now for the Yanks. And he did without a torpedo.
One of the best hitters for the Yankees last year.
Yeah, and he did it without a torpedo bat. So there goes that. But Johnny Boy put a question. Can you put that question up? He asked, what do we think so far about the starting pitch and the bullpen, also the defense? I'll start with the bottom, the worst, the defense. Booting the ball over the infield is not going to cut it. They got away with the murder game yesterday versus the Martins. Luis Torrens bailed them out. Lindor made a beautiful throw as well to cut a runoff at the plate in extra innings as well. Beatty was horrible with that throw to home plate. You have all the time in the world. You throw it to the middle or to the left. Instead, he throws it to the right. Just completely sucked ass. Vientos The ball's going out. You step out, but you catch the ball in. Again, head up your ass. I don't know because if he was chilling in Miami or Club 11, because Eric Adams wants to stay here in New York. Don't get me started on that fucking idiot. Do not get me started on that fucking criminal, please, please. Yeah, but Vientos, he needs to get his head out of his ass. I'll tell you right now, if I had to make a prediction, because this fan base sucks anyway, a lot of them. What's going to happen is if Vientos gets off, he goes 0 for 2, 0 for 3, strikes out opening day, he's going to be the first Met booed at Citi Field. There is no doubt in my mind he'll be the first one to get it. Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be right.
No, I hear you. It drives me nuts, though.
Yes. I mean, Pete, we talked about this in Gallo. The first game of the season, the meltdowns already on social media about the Mets. The only thing I was pissed off about was Beatty. Other than that, it's a long season. The starting pitching, by the way, John, to answer your question, has been fantastic, and the bullpen's been absolutely spectacular. Shout out Max Kranick. He was Kranick's his name, right? He was awesome, and I think that's on Brazelbaum too, getting his first save, a career save out of 119 appearances. That was congratulations to him. They've all been solid, but I so far still good with the pitching and the bullpen. The defense, I don't expect it to be this shitty.
And you know what I always add to people? Local sports fans are obviously so much more locked into their teams. I get it, right? Like we watch the Mets every pitch. We watch the Yankees and the Knicks and the Giants and the Jets every play, the whole nine, right? But when you look at other teams, your opponents, your counterparts, your peers, you look across the league, you don't react like this. Like, do you know who the worst OPS in the MLB is right here, right now? Who has the worst OPS as a team in the league? Anyone have a guess?
Atlanta Braves.
It's the Atlanta Braves. Are we sitting here thinking the Atlanta Braves aren't going to turn it around a little bit? We think they're going to end up with the worst OPS in the MLB? No, we don't. It's just baseball has this special way. And I know it infuriates me when I'm producing, which I'll be producing for Anthony Gallo on Sunday overnight.
Sunday, possibly Saturday night, depending on how the Final Four games go.
True. Oh, right after that. That's fun.
Yeah.
But like callers will call in after a game and just have a panic attack, a meltdown about not bunting, about one guy who struck out one time. It's like, brother, baseball is different. It's a different beast, man, especially this early. The averages, all this stuff. If you're looking at that right now, just stop because it doesn't matter. You have one good game and you switch your average from a 162 to a 380. Like that's how it happens still. We're still at that point. Until you get to 20, 25 games, don't even look at a stat. It's pointless. Right. And even on the stats for the pitchers right now, to get back to Johnny Boy's question, which is a great one here, you look at what Clay Holmes is doing and Kodai Senga is doing. I am really thrilled with what I've seen so far. And that doesn't mean they've put out A+ starts. It just means that they are building to where we need them to be. They are showing the out pitches. They're doing the right stuff.
Listen, the bullpen I thought would be this good. And the one thing I'm glad is that Brazelbaum has gotten this chance because I wasn't crazy about the fact that he might have started the year in AAA. I like his stuff. I love that move last year. And in 5 innings, he's been great. But to Pete's point, too, Brazelbaum could go 10 straight innings, not give up a run, and have one bad at bat, and his ERA is not going to reflect how good he is. So that's kind of the trickiness with bullpen pitchers just the entire season. As far as the defense, I mean, if it was consistently Juan Soto making a mistake, consistently Pete making a mistake. The fact that Lindor made 2 of those mistakes, it doesn't frighten me. The fact that Acuna made that mistake on opening day doesn't frighten me because these guys have a track record of being good defensively. Vientos, I don't think that was a skills thing. I think that was, him taking a play off and not like you said, maybe he was out the night before. It was
thinking about his bad at bats.
Right. And I think Beatty right now is pressing a bit because I don't think he was ever terrible at third base. But I also saw positives in the defense, like specifically Acuna. He made that mistake, but then on that double play, he was able to pick the ball out of the ground, and everyone was like, oh, he made a bad throw, and Peter to save him. I'm like, no, well, he had to make the pick out the ground and then throw awkwardly, and that's what you're supposed to do. 2 guys picking each other up, and that's what they did. Soto's made some plays. I really love the 2 center fielders. And then starting pitching wise, I don't expect them to be this good all year, but I'm excited. I think they've played better than I expected, but I also didn't expect them to be as bad as everyone was expecting.
By the way, the Braves are 0-7 and they've scored 14 runs. That's what I was writing down. The stat just popped up on the screen.
We can keep reminding that all day if we want. Injuries, they got injuries. Yeah. Chop these nuts.
The Braves are 0-7, 14 runs. I love it. Kick them while they're down and don't let them back up. You know, from Profar being suspended. By the way, we're the Met fans that were bitching and moaning the Mets didn't get Profar. I'm sorry. What was silence? Silence. That's right. See, so if you're going to be loud on one way, be loud when it's the other way as well.
Yeah, and two things with the Braves also, and this is not to really like pile on the Braves, but it goes to show Met fans who are like, what if the Mets pitching's not good? What if somebody gets hurt? What if this happens? And it's like, that can happen for every single team you talk about. The only team that really didn't have any questions was the Dodgers. Every single team in baseball has question marks. Injury is going to be question marks for everyone. Braves started slow. Their defense looks like crap. They're injured, and their starting pitching is not good, which I don't know why everyone gave them the benefit of the doubt when the only established guy on their team is Chris Sale that wasn't hurt last year. The other guy is a second-year pitcher, and then we're expecting Strider to just be great. And then for the Profar thing, which is my other point, the fact that I saw people saying the Braves should be pissed because they signed him, you know what? This is what you get when you take advantage of young Latino players in the early stages of their career and get them for pennies on the dollar, and finally you got to take it advantage of. So now we're supposed to feel bad? No, that's how the game works. Hate the game, not the player. I see what I did now. I know that's not the right saying. I flipped it.
It's fine. It's all good, Gallo. I was as heck plays the profile video. My dad wanted him, and then it's like, nah. I wanted him, then I'm like, nah, there's a reason he's still out there. And then, you know, this happens with him. And like you said, Gal, I went over the rosters pre-opening day, and I was like, what is the big deal about the Braves? Strider's not back. Acuña's not back. The pitching staff has Chris Sale and a bunch of other guys that haven't done it. And because they're the Atlanta Braves, they're going to get it done. I said the Phillies scared me more than the Braves when it came to the National League East. I think this is a Met and Phillies division. I think it's going to come down to those two teams. I just don't think the Braves are that good. I really don't. I know the 0-7 is crazy, and people think they're going to bounce back. I don't believe in this Atlanta Brave team. I just don't. And the Dodgers, like you said, listen, that's going to be the biggest pile of shit on my face because I said this is going to be the biggest bust in sports history. Well, they better get knocked out in the first round of playoffs for me to look good. If they go 120 and whatever and get to the World Series, then they're not the biggest bust in sports series because they got to the World Series. If they go 120, get knocked out in the first round, then I feel better that happens. But they're often flying. Mookie Betts weighing 120 pounds with parasites in his ass. He's fucking hitting walk-off homers. You got fucking Shohei Ohtani hitting a walk-off homer. You got fucking their pitching is Sasaki crying and they're still winning. And then, he's crying. Supposedly his pitching coach or manager came out and said before he was signed to Dodgers, big market, it's not good for him. He's very, very sensitive. Well, and he got caught on TV crying game one. Let's see what that happens in a big spot in the playoffs. He's going to be crying his ass off. But I just think as far as the Mets get back to the Mets, our division, it's Mets and Phillies, two-way race. And I think when it's all said and done, that I trust David Stern to get the job done and bring whatever piece. Sandy Alcantara, hello!
Come on in, Sandy. And I got to add this too, because I think the Mets are in this position that is very similar to where the Knicks were early in the year, right? You're at this point, it's so early that you have to actually just force yourself to be happy for the dumb wins like they pulled off on Wednesday night. Like that was a lucky win. It was a touch gritty. It was a lot lucky and it was a lot ugly, but it was a win. And dropping a series dropping a series to the Marlins is a no-no. You can't be doing that, right? So you got to take advantage of your advantage. You got to appreciate what's appreciated. And I love this saying here. You can't win your division in April, but you can lose it, right? So you lose a series to the Marlins early, that sucks. You start 0-7 like the Braves are, that sucks. Like the Braves aren't winning the division right now, but they might be losing it, right? Depending on when they start flipping it, because it's not a matter of if for me, it is when. Acuña comes back and that lineup looks better. The pitching gets a little healthier. Like, I think they will be competitive again. Did they put themselves back on like too much to make that come back all the way to the division? It's what the Mets did to themselves last year. And this is what the Yankees do so well. Every single year, they win early. It's like you blink and it's the end of May and the Yankees got an 8-game lead in the AL East somehow. And then they could play mediocre baseball for 2 months. and they still got a 6, 7, 8 game lead in the AL East. The Mets have never really had that luxury. They're probably not going to have it this year because of the Phillies as well. But separating yourselves from the Braves early, not dropping a series to the Marlins early, I almost don't care as much about some of the BS, some of the question marks that we have, because those question marks were there, no matter what. We're going to have question marks until they start ripping win after win after win. So that just is what it is. But you got to take advantage of those wins. You got to appreciate that you didn't start as shitty as the Braves have, and you take that and run with it. You can't win the division in April, but you damn sure can lose it. And right now, the Braves could be setting themselves up to do that.
By the way, Met legend Carlos Carrasco went 5 in the third innings, and he handed the ball off to Met legend Adam Ottavino. It's 2025. This is Yankee baseball. That's what just happened just now. And they're up 9-3 versus Arizona. Again, looks like they're going to take the rubber game and go lose the series 2 out of 3. Luis Torrens, I think he deserves a minute or two for shine as well.
Oh yeah,
because he's made a lot of us forget Francisco Alvarez. I'm going to be honest. I know Francisco Alvarez is the bigger name, the marquee name, but again, he's out with a freak accident. Who knows when he's going to be back? Luis Torrens stole him from the David Stern stole him from the Yankees. He's been great defensively. He's come up with big hits as well, and I just love what he's doing right now. Thoughts on Torrens?
I loved him as a backup catcher. I thought last year he gave us a ton of really great starts, like at times when either Alvarez was hurt or needed a day off or just was struggling. And he clearly is up for the moment. And I also don't think he has an ego. Like if at some point they either give Alvarez the starting job back or Alvarez earns it, I don't think that's going to crush Torrens. And this play was insane last year. Like, and that was kind of, where the season flipped. Like that, right? Correct me. That's the London series, right? Like that was kind of where it flipped. And just like yesterday, he bails out Beatty, bails out Diaz, saves the game really, like him and Pete with massive moments. And I love him. I mean, I think backup catcher it's not quarterbacks, but like my point is everyone in the league needs a good backup catcher. It's one of the few positions in the sport where I think you truly need a backup catcher.
Look at that play.
Yeah, they're going to play no matter what. Yeah,
look at that start. Look at that tag, man. Just look at that. And Gary and Keith. Oh, I think he's safe. No, you're 75 years old. Get thicker glasses, bro. And you tell the replay he was out.
Whoa. That stray was unnecessary. Okay, that was unnecessary.
Piss poor hitting. I'm piss poor commentary. I'm just fucking with Keith. I'm just having fun.
Now, and you know what though? It's the only position, not the only position, but the main position that the backup will play no matter what, every single week, once or twice, maybe 3 times a week. You need it. And with backup catchers, with catchers in general, like you take hitting as the icing on the cake. But when you have what Torrens just did in that game against Miami, that's a win, man. That's massive. That is the equivalent. I'm making another Knicks analogy here. That's the equivalent of the backup center. I know you were doing a backup quarterback analogy there for a second, Gallo. That's the backup center. Like, all right, Mitch scores 14 points. Sick. That's amazing. That's like Torrens going 2 for 5. But Mitch comes in, blocks some balls, grabs some boards, alters some shots, and you're sitting pretty, man. That's what this guy's going to do. I feel like he's a surefire defender. He's got a good arm. One of those throws down to second on the steal attempt the other day was
with
so
Diaz
smooth.
On the mound.
Oh, my God. That was filthy. That was insanely impressive what he just did there. And not to mention the tag we just saw. Like, that's huge, man. That's the type of stuff that great teams have. That's the type of thing that gets you from good to great, right? And hopefully, at the end of the day, maybe Alvarez and Torrens are playing both so well that you're happy no matter who you see in the lineup, right? It's going to be one of those things that it's just a positive is a positive.
Right. So when you think Mets backup catcher, who do you think?
Todd Zeal. No. He was
not Mackie Sassa.
Ramon Castro.
All right, poor exercise by me. I thought we were all going to be on the same page. But like in 06, 07, 08, I know 07 and 08, not great years, but who was the Mets backup catcher? Ramon Castro.
Oh, yeah.
Cabazon.
Oh, dude, he's the only person with a bigger head than me, dude.
The Darth Vader walk-up song.
He had an 8.5 baseball cap. Like, but my point is, he was really solid for the Mets, really great. And that was a big, I think he was there for 4 years. I can't remember how many years he was there. It was either 3 or 4 years. And it always felt like when he would slide in, he would be a major piece for them. Right here. Is this because they, also when I think Ramon Castro, I think the grand slam that never was.
I was there.
Oh my
I was
God.
there. He was pimping it. I was there.
He had 11 home runs in 2007
He was very
as a backup.
He was a very good backup catcher. And the thing I like about Torrens and Alvarez is they both do things defensively well. Alvarez frames the ball great. They both call games well. And Torrens is more of a threat to throw guys out on the base path. So there is a little bit of where one struggles, the other one's better, and vice versa.
By the way, Ramon Castro is a Bell Boulevard legend. He was always on Bell Boulevard after Met games, and Andy Chavez back in the day as well. Bell Boulevard legends. Now, the other question that came up was about Pete. What do we think about Pete? We talked about that at the beginning of the show. Pete Alonso, he looks like Frat Boy Pete is back. And that's what I've been begging for. Last year was corporate Pete. I hated
Boris
it. He didn't like he was having fun. And he was corporate Pete. This is Frat Boy Pete. This is Hump the Rails Pete. This is Rip Your Shirt Off Pete. The hot mic caught him saying, "Let's fucking go, boys. Let's fucking go, boys," after they were at home. And I'm like, this is the Pete. This is the Pete I love. Not last year's corporate Pete. I love this Pete Alonso.
Yeah, somebody's feeling it when the ball 4 goes past you and you just act like it's ball 3. Y'all seen that?
Yeah,
So,
he wanted to stay.
Gary Cohen's like, I'm pretty sure that's ball 4. And Pete's like, nah, I'm going to stay here until they make me walk. I'm trying to hit it.
Was that Albert Bell that did the same thing?
Sounds like it. But Pete was going down to first base like, fuck, come on. I wanted that. Like, he was pissed that he got walked. And that's how you know somebody's tapped in.
Right. And as someone who's never said a bad thing about Pete Alonso, I just want to stand here and seriously, like, I never rooted against the guy. I was never sitting here rooting for Pete the Fifth.
Here's my cat, by the way.
Like, listen, I'm not going to say I was wrong, but now he's doing what we wanted, and that's all we asked for. Listen, his home run in October is going to live with me forever. The home run against the Phillies, live with me forever. Dodgers, like, I always loved Pete, but I'm also, I'm at an age where, get it done or don't be here. And right now he's getting it done. And I agree. He looks loose. When he hits a ball and he grabs the barrel of the bat, like, it's a good feeling because the ball's gone. It's basically his bat flip. And he looks locked in. And I think without the contract stuff hanging over his head, he probably feels disrespected about what went on this past season. And I don't think it's a Mets thing. I think it's everyone in the league not giving him what he wanted. And he's off to a hot start. And right now he's carrying the team. So, thankfully, if Lindor gets going and Soto keeps doing what he's doing and Pete keeps doing what he's doing, look out, National League. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, it's a filthy 1, 2, 3. And then if Yenzo can get it going, the offense, usually the pitchers are ahead of the hitters when it comes to April. If the offense is struggling in May, it's going to be a huge problem for me. But it's a long season. It's a long season. The overreactions on our star players is out of control. The fact that these idiots are already on social media, they know who you fucking idiots are. And yes, I'm using the F word. You fucking idiots. You do it every fucking season. And Lindor was second in MVP. Season starts. Now, if you know anything about Lindor's family history with birth, they had complications the last birth. Okay. She gives birth at home. She does home births. So they had complications, and he's worried about his wife and he's worried about his baby. They're fucking human. And he never hit when the baby's expected. So can we relax? The man finished second in MVP, and you idiots already. Lindor sucks. So blah blah blah. Wasted money after you said last year you weren't going to do this shit after last season. You guys are fucking idiots and you're miserable. Do yourselves a favor. Go have a drink. And maybe you meet somebody at 3:45 in the morning and go get laid because you guys all suck. You really do all suck.
Well, just like you do it to yourself every year as Met fans. Like, how many guys have we seen in, the beginning of the season consistently start slow and then they continuously come out of it as the May hits and June hits? I'm not worried. And, the defensive thing, I feel like, he was knocking off some cobwebs. The bat, I honestly, as long as he's hitting come mid-May, I don't really care. Like, I kind of expected him to start slow. I kind of expected a lot of these guys to start slow because for their careers, Nimmo, Alonso, and Lindor have all been slow starters. I mean, Nimmo and Alonso are off to a great start, though.
Rather be a slow starter and a strong finisher. And I ain't talking about baseball. What's up? No.
There's the big meat Pete, and now there's this, man. You're letting all the wifey secrets out, bro. You're letting it all out, man. What are we doing here?
Nah, it's so typical though, man. I'm tight with somebody who runs a Mets account on Twitter that's growing, and I'm super proud of the dude who runs it. And he's I'm not gonna even throw it out there, but I was talking to him about it because he'd be posting stuff, and Al's eyes are twigging out. He's trying to think who I'm talking about. I'll tell you guys after, but he's a great dude and runs a great account. I give him a lot of credit. But some of the stuff he's putting it out there, and he's complaining that people are acting so negative on his replies. I'm like, dude,
are you shocked?
Yo, this is what people do. This is it. If you give them a chance to be negative, you give people a chance to be pissed off, they're gonna do it. It's just who people are, and it's who New York fans are, man.
Yes.
If this was flipped and the Mets were starting like the Yankees, and the Yankees vice versa were not hitting 16 home runs a game over the first weekend, then this would be exactly flipped, right? We'd be texting our Yankee fan friends saying, yo, y'all suck, your offense is buns. And then they'd be, it'd be the same exact things. It's what we do. You give people a chance to be negative, they are going to take it. We panic as a city. We are a fan base that panics. We pride ourselves on being the smartest fan bases in the country. Sure, maybe we're smart every once in a while. In general, we're just like everybody else, man. We're fans.
Did you say buns?
I might have said buns. What are you talking
about?
I
love it. That's an old school. That's an old school throwback for me. I love that word. Buns, man.
I once tweeted that, and Jerry Recco had to explain to Boomer and Gio what that meant.
Buns,
or Gio had to explain to them what that meant, because they were like, Gallo said something like somebody's buns, and I was like, yeah.
Now, what if you said cheeks? You really be throwing them off.
Yeah, like, maybe I could have. I think I said buns. It could have been cheeks though. But yeah, listen, as far as the Met Yankee thing goes, like, I don't think it. I have no, like I said last episode, I have no problem with the pettiness. It's the Yankee fans who won't admit they're being petty. Like, we're all the same. Literally every fan base in this market is the same. It's just to what degree are you miserable, and how much have you seen your team win? The only team that kind of is a little different is the Knicks. But now we've glided into that negative territory, because for 3 years it was a party. It was, we're happy to be here. We're partying on the street. Side Talk New York, Nems, everybody, Knicks fans, team. We're all having a blast. And now the negativity has sunk in. And it's just, honestly, it's the Northeast, Massachusetts, Philly, New York. They're all the same. It's just, again, how much success have you seen recently? And to your point, Aaron Judge got booed. Like, Derek Jeter got booed. Like, Patrick Ewing got booed. Like, everyone gets booed, and everyone in this city overreacts. It's just, it tends to feel like Met fans overreact to the dumbest things. Yes.
Now, whoever added me to that New York Mets Twitter thing, when you get added to, like, the group, like, the true, like, Mets Twitter thing, I don't know who added me to it. It was probably you, Al. I hate that place. That place sucks. I didn't
do that. Listen, I wouldn't do that to you. I would do it to somebody I can't stand, and I wouldn't do that to you. Trust me. Dude, when I was on Facebook, Met Facebook is even worse. It's super racist, with the comments.
That's just Facebook.
Yeah, that is true. But Met Facebook.
We're live on Facebook, by the way. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes, so hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, everything, all the good stuff. How many people got in the building, Hank? You want to shout it out in the background voice, or?
He's like the Wizard of Oz.
Yes, we have over 130 people watching us right now. We got over 15 on YouTube. If you guys can, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as I lower the Yankee music in the background. Don't want to get hit with copyright. And we're over 4,914 subscribers. So hit that like button and hit that subscribe button.
All right, and I just want to give everybody a heads up. We're planning on doing something from one of the Subway series. Or maybe both. We'll see how it goes. I hate the Bronx. No offense. I got family out there. It's just, sorry. I'm not a big, I stick out like a sore thumb over there, and I'm Puerto Rican. I got family out there. But I don't like the commute going back. it's a pain in the ass going back and forth. At least City Field, it's an easier commute. We're planning on doing TIO Al Friends from there, either City Field and or Yankee Stadium. Most likely City Field. So we'll see. Maybe we can hook something up. Maybe we can get a bar to do something close by. Who the hell knows? We'll see how that goes. That's July 4th weekend. So stay tuned for that. Just throwing it out there.
You just slide
Now,
into Alex Cohen's DM. She'll hook it up.
Perfect segue, because I was just about to say that, because
That's a professional right there.
Heck, you want to read this because I'm old?
You got it
Fan-
out. So, shout out to the public education system in New York City. Fans,
No,
it's been
I
a
need
joy
glasses.
connecting with all of you over the years. However, due to the overwhelming number of requests for jobs, free tickets, player meet and greets, foundation, and financial support, I may need to disable my direct messages and email access. I've included a link in my bio that directs you to the appropriate METS services for those inquiries. As I fall back from embarrassment because I just sounded like an idiot. Go ahead, y'all.
And
You get better than I would have did.
No, and I'm going to read that during my show on Sundays, Sunday night, 6:30 ish to 10 p.m. on the Fan. You guys are fucking pathetic. You are.
Why you coming to me like that?
Yeah,
I didn't ask her to out my business. All I asked for was one job. That's it, just one job.
These motherfuckers are asking for money, tickets. Jobs. The jobs are posted. If you see them face to face, it's totally different. You shoot your shot. Hey, I give you credit to have the guts to do that, but to constantly post shit, send stuff on social media, it's pathetic. You guys are pathetic. Again, in person, you shoot your shot in person. That way, it's a face to face. That's gonna be an interview right there. You can make an impression right there, because I know somebody that happened to, and they made their shirts for the Coens. The first shirt that came out, that they shot their shot, and good for them. But to do this, and a lot of you guys are the same people that say Steve Cohen, F Steve Cohen, F this, F that. You're the same people that do this. So this shit right here, it's a slap in the face. It makes our franchise fan base look pathetic. You guys are fucking whack for doing this.
Well, I got a funny story about this too, but this feels like Alex Cohen trying to do something nice, and understanding that when you're in that public space, you can't really give that much access. But in 2022, I think it was, whatever year they had the most recent work stoppage. I know it was only like a week, but we got sent, me and Big Zoo, to go do the food tasting thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex Cohen bumped around, and she talked to me and Zoo for a little bit. And, that day I followed her on Instagram, and she followed me back, and I thought I was the shit. Like, I thought I was so cool. I'm like, the Mets owner is following me. And then I look at her following, and I'm like, or her followers, I'm like, oh, she follows everybody, every single person. Listen, she is one of the really big bright spots of this ownership. I think that, Steve is a Met fan, but she has humanized the billionaire a bit, and she has tapped into Latino, the Latino community in New York. And I just think this is one of those things where you're trying to do something good. And I don't even blame people for trying to take advantage of the situation, because I don't know what people are going through. I think it's a little stupid and a little thick-headed to think you're going to get a job or money.
A little nuts.
But, shoot your shot. It's whatever. You fail if you don't take the chance. But it feels like she tried to do something nice and realized, like, whoa, I probably shouldn't be giving people this much access to me. And, it's like Jose Batista. I don't know how many of you guys have seen Jose Batista on X. He follows everybody. Like, again, another guy who followed me, and I was like, I'm pretty fucking cool. Like, Jose Batista follows me.
Same.
But, yeah, so I don't blame her for it, and I think it's smart. She's got to take a step back now and put that border, set boundaries with the fan base.
Who I blame? I blame all these whack influencers on social media who are like, you just got to shoot your shot. You got to just do whatever it takes. And like, I get it. I get that whole idea. Like, you got to do it. I wish I had a little bit more of it in me, if I'm being honest, right? I'm jealous of the people who have the balls to go into a billionaire owner's DMs and be like, yo, let me get some free tickets. Like, what are we doing here?
The free tickets pathetic.
What do you think is going to happen here? You're going to DM Alex Cohen, and she's going to be like, you know what? I really like how you worded that DM. I'm gonna hire you to run our social media or whatever. And that's no shot at Hector. Okay, so I'm just saying, it's just like it's nuts. It's nuts to do this to somebody. I mean, like people who like DM athletes all the time, and sometimes like, yo, you sold my parlay, bro. Like, what do you want? Like a couple more retweets on your Twitter page? Like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to get out of this? I just don't understand it. But again, part of me is a little jealous because, you know, I wish I had the balls to reach out to some of these folks to be like, yo, help me out. I just, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't.
All I did was ask her to meet the Brooklyn Pizza. That's all I asked.
Wait, what'd you do?
I just reached. All I said was, "Hey, can you hook up a meet and greet with the Brooklyn Pizza?"
Not the giraffe.
No.
No, shit, during the 2022 playoffs when the Mets lost.
I was going to say real quick. To be fair, I took this picture from her that is being used and circulated around.
Oh, that's actually
the
dope.
internet. So anytime you see this picture of Alex Cohen, I took this picture with her. This was the day that they had the Battle of the Badges, FDNY, NYPD at Citi Field. I used to work EMS in the South Bronx, so my boss sent me there. So yeah, I took this picture. She was amazing. And you know, again, I'm sorry for being in your DMs. Like, you know, I just tagging you in photos. I'm so sorry.
I take back everything I said. That is a fire picture, Heck.
Yeah, but if we're talking about asking for fucking tickets, like I understand maybe you have a sick family member, you want to, you know, my mom or dad is sick, and I would love to sit them in, you know, great seats. And obviously, she's gonna ask for proof of all this stuff. And if you don't have proof of all this stuff, you're a piece of shit for even doing some shit like that. But she's been awesome to the fan base when face to face. She's been good as well. She's been awesome with the fan base, but these guys have taken it to the next level in 2022 during Game 3. I was a little saucy, and I wrote a DM to her saying it's pathetic. These fans have wanted people to show up to playoff games. They wanted playoff baseball, and the fans don't show up, I should say. And she wrote something back. So I'm not going to say because I don't want to whatever, but I don't want to be out there. But she pretty much was agree, calling me, you know, great fan and agree with me. Like, it's pathetic. Like the empty seats in right field, empty seats in left field, but you say you want meaningful games. You don't even show up for Game 3, do or die versus the Fathers. So, but it's just when I saw that, and I sent it to other people as well, and they said to me, pathetic. Our fan base is pathetic. I'm not going to say who it is. We know these people. And it's just sad that, you know, this is another black eye for the fan base. It's pathetic. And I know, Gallo, you said, you know, it's shoot your shot or whatever, but Pete said it. In person, shoot your shot. I understand it. Just don't be a maniac about it. If you have a minute or two with the person, you might never get that minute or two ever again. But I'm sure it wasn't one message. I'm sure some of these people send messages every day asking for the same shit. And that's when she said, okay, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, it's tough, you know, as a public figure and somebody who is, you know, a front facing, you know, her and Cohen or Steve and Alex are the faces of the franchise at the end of the day. Like, they are going to be there longer than most of the players are going to be there. We hope, obviously. And it's tough to give access like that. Like, and this is why people in the public space do not give access to stuff like that.
Yeah, and you know what, too? And the sad part to add to it is you have to be skeptical in this world, unfortunately, right? Like, how many DMs did she get that said, you know, my dad wanted to go to one more game, blah, 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 like something that's super heartfelt and touching and etc. How many of them were legitimate? And it sucks to even think that way. That's the worst part. Like, it breaks my heart that you have to think that way. But unfortunately, in today's society, with what people try to pull off to do X, Y, and Z, like, you have to be a bit skeptical in this world, especially on social media. I mean, that's the place to be the most skeptical in this world because it's all fake and faceless accounts left and right, you know? So it sucks. I hope this doesn't take away from the community aspect that she has, which I don't think it will. Like, that she cares too much about, you know, all the work she's put into this.
Grand Slam, Arizona.
No way.
Perdomo off Yarborough, who they picked up 9-7.
Oh my God. One of my boys texted me before, and he sent me a same game parlay. He had a Judge home run, a Chisholm home run, and Yankees money line, and the cash out was like 85% of, you know, what the payout was. He's like, yo, should I cash out? I'm like, nah, let it ride. And he got to get screwed.
He said, "Can I get some Commanders tickets?" I'm looking for some Commanders tickets. Gallo, we'll be at that Broncos Commanders game. Don't bitch out on me now. But we're going to that shit.
Listen, it's one of the few games I'm not going to Philly. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I'm not going to that dump neither. If I had to go for the NFC Championship game, the only way I'm going is if I had a credential, and then I go dressed up hidden because I'm not getting into it with Eagle fans. If I went with a squad, whole nother story, man. Let's do it. But we're going to that Bronco Commanders game. But how do we feel about opening day? It's finally here in terms of at Citi Field. Do you think it's going to be a sellout? Do you think it's going to be packed the first day and then the second day half the stadium be empty? It's on a weekend, which is a good thing. Let's see what happens with the weather. How's the fan turnout going to be?
I think it's going to be sold out, but also I don't know, how much the current, I don't want to, go down this route, how much the current economic situations is really hurting people because the tickets were really pricey. I would say it's going to be.
They did drop, excuse me. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. They were 180 and then they were 113. Last check, they were 85.
Okay, so they are dropping. And to be fair, baseball is the one sport that you wait till the day of, even if you waited till first pitch, you could probably get in the building for a reasonable price. I think it's going to be sold out. I think Met fans are chomping at the bit. They want to cheer Pete. They want to cheer Juan. They want to cheer Francisco. A lot of people got priced out of the playoffs, so this was their chance to get back in the building. I think the second night we're going to get a good crowd also. I think Saturday night is going to be, as long as the weather holds out, I think it's going to be a really great weekend in Queens.
The rain sucks. Let's be frank. It sucks. It's gonna be shitty out this weekend. It's gonna be next weekend. It's classic April, bro. It's just gonna rain. It's gonna be crappy, but I think it's gonna show out. I just looked on SeatGeek real quick. You can find the cheapest ticket for 67. What's that? SRO though. That's standing room only. Okay, so it's 83 with fees is the cheapest out there. So like you said, Al, you're right on.
Yeah.
For opening day, it's reasonable, but it's tough. I mean, people now with more people going back to the office Friday a Friday afternoon game is not exactly easy, but it's going to be a great crowd, man.
Well, I think
even
that
if it's rain,
helps.
it's going to be great.
The 3:00 start, I think, helps.
Versus the 1 o'clock, you're saying?
Yeah, I do. I feel like it does help. Maybe not. It doesn't really matter for the kid that's leaving school, but for the person in the office, it's a lot easier to probably get out of work at 1, 2 o'clock than it is to get out at 10, 11 o'clock.
By the way, I just got 2 text messages really quick. If I could read this real quick. So the person who texted me about cashing out, he cashed out. So shout out to my boy Jack. He cashed out the Yankee bet. Why they're about to blow this one. Good for him. And then I got a text from Paul Rosenberg. I don't know if Gallo saw this or not yet, but he said, quote, Gallo looks like a doofus with a basketball over his head.
I was ignoring his text messages. It's either that or a plain, white wall. So I'm trying to spruce it up a little bit.
Well, what's some anime? Well, come on, you guys like to bust my chops down, put anime back.
Just wait,
I like how you say anime.
Just wait, a couple weeks when I'm finally moved into my apartment, I'm gonna have a nicer setup. So we will get away. Listen, I do my shows from the garden. That's where I'm at right now. This is totally not an AI generated basketball stadium.
Shout out to Paulie. Shout out to Rose. Before we go any further, I just want to say,
don't shout him out. Yeah.
Before we go any further, on a sad note, my Anthony Rivera, who we all know, Subway to Shea, he's been on here before, and he's also co-hosted. He lost his dog. The last 18 years old. I know I'm a dog dad. I don't know if anybody else is.
Me too.
And that really hit home when I saw it. So it was during, I talked to him during the Met game yesterday, and I was like, let's get this win for your little guy. And for the Mets to pull, that's why, it's a long season, but I was super happy for him that the Mets won this game to help relieve some of the pain, which will probably never go away. And I just want to say that we're thinking about your aunt, your little man as well. 18. I know people are like, oh, I lived a good life. Man, dogs deserve to be here longer than human beings. Let's be honest. A lot of humans are shit, and dogs deserve to be here. If I could give 10 years off my own life for my dog to be here longer, I'd do it in a heartbeat. But just wanted to let Anthony know that we're thinking of you and love you, brother. So I just wanted to say that here on this platform. And if you're watching, great. And if not, I'm sure you hear about it, and I'll see you at Citi Field this year as well. So on to the Knicks. What can we say, man? It's the first half, they look great versus the Cavs. I was hoping they wouldn't get embarrassed. The game turned when OG got his fourth foul early in the third quarter. They got outscored, I think it was 71-45 in the second half. Carnegie Towns just cannot stay out of fucking foul trouble neither. And with no Brunson, he gets in foul trouble. We got no shot of beating anyone. It's looking like Jalen Brunson. He's practiced today for the first time, so I haven't heard anything. How he looked or anything like that. I'm thinking he's going to play Tuesday at the Garden versus the Boston Celtics. I think that's when he makes his debut. Yeah, and the whole squad will be together. I'm looking forward to that. But against the Cavs, I didn't put too much into it. I was hoping when they would hang with them the whole game. But again, when OG got the fourth foul, it was curtains because he was cooking in the first half. Thoughts on the Knicks going 0-9 versus the top teams in the league?
I mean, that sucks. I actually feel a lot better right now than I did the last time we spoke about the Knicks. I think the way OG's played, defensively, they look a lot better. And I don't think that's something that's going to just change because of Jalen Brunson. And I think we're starting to see Tibbs have to use the bench. And guys like DeLon Wright and Tyler Kolek have stepped up. Like last time we spoke, we were kind of weary of Tyler Kolek's defense. And he's kind of improved in the last 3 games defensively. I don't know if that means they're going to go out and beat the Cavs or the Celtics in a series, but I do feel a lot better about them going forward because other guys, Karl-Anthony Towns is an enigma to me. Like, I honestly think if there's a way that they could just ride him early and naturally get the ball out of his hands late, that's the best course of action for them because he fades in the second half and OG's really dominating right now. And if you can mix Brunson back in and the defense doesn't take a step back, this is going to be the best they've looked all year once Brunson gets back. But I can't give you a concrete reason that they could beat the Cavs or the Celtics because they haven't even hung with them. They get blown out every game. But as far as the state of the team, I do feel a little bit better about them.
I agree, Gallo. You got to feel better about the things that you can actually look at right now. And OG Anunoby leads that discussion. 14 games since Jalen Brunson's been out, he's over 20 points, 11 out of the 14 games. He looks the best that he ever has in a Knicks uniform. There's an aggression on offense that we've never got to see from him. There's a bounce and, agility level that I feel like I'm seeing from him right now that I haven't seen from him in a Knicks uniform. Knock on wood with his history, but he looks more athletic than he's ever looked. He is aggressive on offense. And if Mikal Bridges had the same gumption that OG Anunoby is playing with right now, that would be so important to bring into the Jalen Brunson offense when he comes back into it. Because as you saw in that Cavs game right there, right? Like that team without Brunson, without Mitchell Robinson had a lead at halftime, right? In reality, the most important time for Brunson to be Brunson is the fourth quarter, right? Those other guys have to be doing stuff positively all first 3 quarters. I'd say 3.5 quarters in order to win games, right? And every year in the playoffs, you're going to see the stars be stars, but you're going to see other people have huge games. You're going to see other people have huge shots. When you talk about the Denver Nuggets, what's the big question mark about them in the playoffs? It ain't if Jokic is going to do well. Everyone knows what he's going to do. It's if Jamal Murray could be that level of championship caliber point guard that he was a few years ago. And that's the same question for the Knicks right now. And we're seeing more of it from OG Anunoby. We trust Hart. The cat thing, it really comes down to he's a different player in foul trouble. He is scared and tentative in foul trouble on offense and defense. And you can't have that. You would hope that Mitchell Robinson makes a difference on that side, but he also wasn't in that game against Cleveland. So I think I'm seeing things that I do like. And you obviously can make easy excuses for not beating the Cavs without 2 really important pieces. And I think this is forcing Tibbs' hand to be a little bit more flexible, to be a little bit more creative. And if I were a betting man, which I am, I wouldn't bet on Tyler Kolek to play in the playoffs, but I might bet on DeLon Wright to play in the playoffs. He is a professional. He is a backup catcher. He's Luis Torrens, perhaps, for this team. He comes in, he organizes the offense, he plays good defense, and God forbid he hits a few shots, you get something good out of the dude.
Yeah, and I also think that what is Tibbs doing? I'm not a minutes please person, but what is he doing 36 minutes, 2 games in a row for Mikal Bridges on a back-to-back, one of which Mikal Bridges didn't need to see the court in the fourth quarter against the Sixers. What are we doing? Like, we're past the point of conditioning. Like, the guys are conditioned. If you gave them 10 minutes off one night, you're not hurting them. And when the game gets out of hand, what are you proving? Like, I know he's a little bit of a psycho, Tibbs, but what are you proving here? And then I do agree with the Tyler Kolek thing. The one thing I will say is, and he's a lot younger, he reminds me, and he's not as good of a defender, reminds me a lot of Pablo Prigioni. Like, just really great with the ball in his hands, can settle the offense when Brunson's not out there now, and he's an excellent passer. He looks like every dude in the 70s with the way he passes.
I would just like to see him be a little, not be afraid to shoot the ball. He looks very tentative on offense in terms of looking for his own shot. But his turnover ratio prior to last night, what was like 32 assists to 1 turnover. He's finally getting some burn. Good for him. My only thing with Bridges that you're talking about is he shows up versus the bad teams, and then when it's time for the good teams, like Mitchell was cooking him in that third quarter, absolutely cooking him, and Bridges was Let me go back into my shell. You know when he's going to get rest? When Bridges is going to get rest? When he sits against the Nets last game of the season. He'll be out there for the jump ball, and then he'll sit the rest of the game for a streak to be alive, and that'll be that. That's when he gets his rest when it comes to Tibbs in the minutes. But I just want to see the team back together. To me, to get to the playoffs healthy, I'll take my chances versus whoever. I don't care if it's Milwaukee. I don't care if it's Detroit in the first round. I don't care if it's Indiana, whatever. Bring them on. And the second round, it all comes down to, can they hang or will they get embarrassed? That is the burning question when it comes to the Knicks. If they get smoked, there's going to be wholesale changes if your name is not Jalen Brunson, unless you're Jalen Brunson. If they hang tight then you figure out, can we add, like we've talked about, a Kelly Oubre to this team, to this lineup, an antagonizer that Tibbs will love on his team, who can play defense, hit the three, and can score if I get his own shot as well. You just add a piece or two to what you have already to compete. And, it took forever. The Cavs, this is their third year with Donovan Mitchell. It was their third or fourth year, whatever it is. It takes time. The Knicks cannot get embarrassed in these playoffs. They just cannot. Just get to the playoffs healthy, and I take my chances.
Yeah, and they might luck out getting the Bucks. Not saying that any of the teams I fear that will get knocked out in, but they really play the Bucks well. And if we're going to take a ton of stock in the way they play against these good teams, then we have to take stock in the way the Knicks have dominated the Bucks now for 2.5 years. And who knows? That might be the guy that ends up here if they end up like failing. But
he just did something historic. I don't mean to cut you off, Gallo.
Yeah, 35, 20, and 17.
Yeah, first guy in NBA history, something like that. What is it? First guy in NBA history to get triple-double.
Yeah, I'm waiting. My phone is buffering. That's what I saw.
35 points, 20 assists, 15 rebounds.
That's crazy.
That's it.
First
versus Philly, though. Versus Philly.
Yeah.
True.
Tyrese Maxey's now hurt.
The 87ers. They're they're playing the 87ers. Yeah, it's crazy out here.
The 86ers.
That's their G League team. Yeah. No, it's crazy. But I will say this. I think it's come full circle a little bit to the Knicks conversation, because when they lost those games out the break, it was full panic mode. And then Brunson got hurt, full panic mode. We have seen a lot of positive stuff without Brunson. They have won a decent bit of games and beaten a team like the Bucks. And though they don't have Dame, that's their second best player. We were missing our first best player with the New York Knicks and Jalen Brunson. So that's a huge win as well. I think that's very important here. And then you think about kind of where they could go. I think people are starting to come back around and say, all right, maybe we were overreacting to this idea that the Knicks are now going to lose in the first round, and maybe they can compete. Like if you throw Brunson in that game against the Cavs last night, or was it 2 nights ago? Whatever. That feels like it could have been a real game. Now, the Cavs are slipping up a little bit, right? That feels like, we were Brunson away from making this a real game. So those things coming together
in the third, right? It was like the gap wasn't big until the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
no, it started to slip away. Remember, they were up like 15, and then the Cavs closed the half strong, and I'm like, and then these two guys have 3 fouls, and then again, OG got the 4th foul early. Like that was it. He didn't score anything until late in the third, early fourth quarter. That was a wrap already.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the one thing I wanted to say, and Al, you could talk more to this because I was too young, and you don't do this, but I hear a lot of older Knicks fans being like, there's no juice. And it's like, well, you guys glorify, and I'm not crapping on the 90s Knicks. It's just crapping on the fan base. Like, they glorify somebody who, let's be honest, they were never beating MJ. Like, it was never close. So to say this team has no juice, but we glorify that one team, you're being inconsistent, and it's almost like revisionist history. Like, and again, I'm not that I do love that memory. I wasn't a memory for me. Like 99 is really where it started. But like, you can't sit here and tell me how great the 90s were when you were a footnote in another player's great career, and then tell me you can't get excited for the postseason. Regardless if I think they beat the Cavs or Celtics or not, I'm going into the postseason like it's a freaking postseason. The same way we did it when we played the Heat and we really didn't have a shot at beating them. The same way we did it every time the Nets in 03. Like, I'm going into it thinking we have a shot, regardless if they actually do or not.
I can tell you why we glorify those teams. It's because night in and night out, they fucking played defense. And they had each other's backs. It was none of this friendly, let's hug and kiss and be friends and talk to each other. They hated the opponent.
No, I get that, but I'm saying I'm asking more like, what was the feeling going into the playoffs? Like, were you guys truly thinking you could beat MJ? Or
yes.
Okay.
Oh,
yes,
so y'all were
absolutely.
crazy. That's why. Oh, okay.
No. That 93, 94, okay. Charles Smith, I know he's dead, so I don't want to talk ill of the dead. He went up like a softie. And yes, Michael Jordan fouled. By the way, Michael Jordan had fouls in that game 5 with 6 minutes left to go. We all knew they weren't calling the 6th. We all knew that. But under the basket, he got hacked by Pippen, hacked by Jordan, and then the ball got stripped out of his hands, and it was over. So that was the year they legit had a chance to beat Michael Jordan and the Bulls. We had the better team. We had home court. And it didn't happen. But we always believed that we could win a championship because of our defense. We had tremendous defense and tremendous heart. And the top to the bottom players had each other's backs. And I think that's what we love that team so much. Plus the last 2 decades of shitty basketball helped glorify those teams because we had no winning going on as Knicks fans. So that's another reason. Yes.
Well, I'll say this too. Welcome back, Zach Lowe. If anyone tapped into Zach Lowe on Bill Simmons, he hasn't talked basketball all year because he's been laid off by ESPN. He's finally back. I don't know if anyone else is a Zach Lowe fan. If not,
I am a big Zach Lowe fan.
So he's back. And guess what? One of his first things he talked about on the Bill Simmons podcast is that he's more in on the Knicks than anyone he's talked to. And that made me really happy. So shout out to Zach Lowe.
Let's go, Zach.
Right? That's what I'm saying. And his point was pretty simple. He's like, I think Tibbs has a little bit of a not a misnomer because it's not a name, but a wrong idea about him as a coach. Everyone thinks he only coaches defense and he always had bad offenses. It's not really the case. If you look at the history of his teams, all of his teams that have been successful have been top 10 offenses, right? The Bulls had it. The Timberwolves had it when they made that playoff run that one year. Like, so he has coached good offenses before, but it's also about the team that he has, right? You think about that Bulls team. It's absolutely dogs and psychopaths with Joakim Noah. And you got, Luol Deng, who was a dog. He was kind of a Mikal Bridges type player. Derrick Rose carrying that offense. Corey Brewer.
Gibson.
Absolute dogs. So he's coaching who he has. Who are the dogs on this team, right? Who are the defensive dogs on this team? Even though Mikal's good at it, he don't give dog, right? OG gives dog. Josh Hart gives dog. Mitchell Robinson gives dog. That's it. So I'm kind of like sitting here not willing to criticize Tibbs for this defense all the time because at the end of the day, you need dogs on the team, right? Like you see Amen Thompson out there in Houston right now, absolutely wreaking havoc. And not just like, and I'm not talking about just a sick block every once in a while, right? Like the rotations are spot on. He wants to be a great defender. He wants to ruin the opponent's offense. That energy from the Knicks hasn't been there on a player level this year. And I'm not sitting here criticizing Tibbs for that notion. I do think it's a little bit to do with the roster right now.
Yeah, and they were up 2-0 on the Heat that year until they put Bron on Derrick Rose, which just foiled everything because then it was like no one else, which is my fear with this Knicks team is, if they do get the edge on the Celtics or the Cavs, what happens if they decide to say like, all right, we're just not going to let Brunson do anything and we're going to force everybody else to beat us. And I think that's why I've built a little bit more confidence with OG because he's been playing like a superstar now for 14 games. And There was a reason why he got paid the money he did, and it wasn't just defensively. It was the fact that he is a good offensive player when he has that aggression.
Yeah, that's the one thing I will say. OG Anunoby, the emergence of him offensively. He's got he's got that bully ball. He's got that slow ass turtle Euro step, but I love it because it works. I love the fact it's mid-range game. I love the fact he's not thinking about it. He's not just sitting in the corner. He's actually flowing. He's all over the court, which is a good thing. And when Brunson comes back, that means Brunson could take a set or two off, knowing that OG can go create his own shot. Bridges needs to get back to, and his shooting from the corners, threes, and float is a mid-range game. He needs to get back to that. He's got to play with confidence. And maybe this is just one of those years where a New York athlete comes and plays for the better New York team, because he's been in New York before, but the Brooklyn Nets are a footnote. He comes to the Knicks, big expectations, and year one he can't handle it. Hopefully year two he handles it. But this is about this season, and I agree with you. Guys. The emergence of OG Anunoby on offense gives the Knicks a legit third option. The question mark was who's going to be a third, Bridges or OG. We didn't know. You got Brunson, you got Cat, and you got OG, and all can score 20 plus points per night. And again, I'll take my chances with those three going against Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum. I really will take my chances. And just if they get smacked, there's going to be changes. And if not, just little tweaks.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm glad you brought that point up, Gallo, because I think at the end of the day, New York fans will show up, right? Like there's still this existential dread that exists with the New York Knicks right now. But as soon as that playoff basketball starts, this city's going to start popping again, especially if they win that series with some gumption against Milwaukee, if it ends up being them in that first round. Like I think back to that Philly series last year. That was one of, and this is sad to say, but it's true, one of my favorite memories as a Knicks fan, winning that series, because there hasn't been that many in my life that I remember.
That was awesome.
But It was electric factory. The Knicks fans taking over Philadelphia. The Knicks fans going nuts in New York City. That team playing with the pride that they played with. And yeah, of course, it crashed and burned because of injury against Indiana and still went 7. Like that energy that existed last year, I do believe it will creep back into this fan base once the playoff basketball starts. But since we started this podcast, which has been what now, 2-3 months at this point, what have we been saying? Be healthy at the playoffs. Be healthy at the playoffs. We are officially a fan base for a basketball team, and this is a positive, not a negative, that is now looking forward to the playoffs because it's what actually matters to us. We've shown that this team is a 3 seed. This team has shown that they can win all regular season long, and it's a positive that the fan base is saying, all right, playoff time, let's go.
Yeah, this is the first time in my lifetime, I'm not going to count the 90s because I was so young. This is the first time in my lifetime, 4 out of 5 years, they're making the postseason. And I would have given that when the mellow years, they were making the postseason, and I never really felt like they could beat the teams they were playing. I was still pumped up. I was like, we're in the playoffs. Like, I don't really care. I would give that for any of my teams. The Broncos used to make the playoffs every year and lose in the wild card. And I was still pumped up for the playoffs every year because it was a possibility. And I'm okay with it right now. And there's expectation. And that expectation doesn't evaporate with one disappointing playoff. Like if they lose in the second round and we're disappointed, we're still going to come back next year with expectations, title aspirations.
Well, it depends how they go out in this playoffs. They cannot get smoked out and embarrassed. They can't. And I want to throw some strays at somebody right now too. Not me, but Mark Spears said between Philly and the Knicks, and I think I posted the clip on my Insta.
You did.
Which is the better team? He said Philly because they have the 3 best players. I'm sorry, Mark, you want to retract that or you want to apologize for that? Because if you listen to your favorite...
When did he say that?
I don't know. Before this... Oh. Yeah, preseason, I think it was, yeah. Or right before the season started. I wrote, which is preseason, duh. I said that if you listen to your favorite Theo, Mark, that the Philadelphia 76ers big 3 was the AARP club. That it was not going to be this. These are the same people that said the Milwaukee Bucks are the favorites to win the East when they got Dame Lillard. These are the same people that said the Phoenix Suns were the favorites to get to the finals versus those Bucks when they got Bradley Beal. You guys, do you watch basketball? Do you really watch basketball? Or do you have your research goons? There it is. This is it, right?
Oh, Sixers. They got Joel Embiid. They got the 3 best players amongst the 2 teams.
The 3 best players over Jalen Brunson?
Jalen Brunson, you're taking Paul George and Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid over Jalen Brunson.
Whoa, child.
All right, somewhere that is going to be a Josh Hart tweet in a couple of
Josh
minutes.
Hart
Whitney.
perpetually online.
This is a hard one.
Well,
The Knicks have a better
that's
opportunity.
that's courtesy of ESPN. Yeah, that's courtesy of ESPN, and they let Zach Lowe. I'm just saying.
I was just about to say that.
I'm just saying.
well, it feels like say Knicks for clicks. That's what that feels like. Because at this point, like my buddies in LA, when Brunson got hurt against the Lakers, shout out to Ramon, one of my best friends. He texted me, he goes, honestly, dude, I didn't feel like we're gonna win this game. He goes, until Brunson went down. And everybody, even my buddies who are Sixers fans, even agree at how great Brunson is. And also, I think they've just gotten fed up with Joel Embiid. And I'm somebody who loves Tyrese Maxey, but to say he's better than Jalen Brunson is outrageous. And the Paul George thing, like, he is somebody who I respect his game. I respect what he's done in the past. I don't understand why he gets elevated to a point that guys who are actual champions, number ones on teams, have never been elevated to.
Yeah, the Paul George stuff was cool in Indiana like 8, 10, 12 years ago, man. I mean, come on. He's unfortunately become more of a meme at this point in his career. And I feel bad because I've always liked him as a player. And I think there's a weird thing with him because if you like poll the young people in this league, like the actual young up and coming stars, Paul George respect him. He's one of the guys who it's like, oh, who's your favorite player? Paul George. And it's because he is the prototype, right? He is lengthy. He is, a great shooter. He can handle, he can play defense, yet it's never translated to where it needed to go. So that sucks for him. But in theory, he's awesome. So whatever, I get it. But the Sixers are old news at this point, and now the New York Knicks get to at least have the last laugh with them. But also, you got to also look around this Eastern Conference right now.
How you Pistons? You still watching your Pistons?
Of course, I'm going to ask you guys this question. Did the Knicks dodge a bullet, or will the Knicks dodge a bullet if they end up with the Bucks versus the Pacers or Pistons? Because I think that would have been an asinine statement to make, 4 or 5 months ago, but it might be true now.
Well, I think that I don't think that I'm not saying we dodged a bullet. I also don't want to be the team that, we beat the Pistons this year and then next year they leap over us. And it's like, well, in their documentary in 4 years, we're like, the Knicks loss is what catapulted the Pistons into this next stratosphere. Like, I don't want to be that team. I got to be honest. The Magic, the Pistons, the Bucks, Knicks in 5.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't feel any of those teams. The Knicks are destined for the semis, and we'll see what happens from there. Like I'm not overlooking, but I am overlooking because if this team I can't see this team getting knocked out in the first round. I just can't see them losing to the Bucks or to the Pistons in a 7-game series. I just don't see that. The Knicks have way too much talent compared to those teams. Now the Pistons are young, up and coming, but they have to go through it. They have to go through. You have to get earn their stripes and go through it. And I think the Knicks will handle them if they face each other. I know you don't want to see it, because I know you got that Pistons Kate Cunningham thong.
My God,
I know that's your dude.
I'll say this: I'm scared of the Pacers. I'm not afraid to say it. Not scared. Listen, the Knicks should be favorite in that series if they got face to face.
I want the smoke,
and I do think they would win that series. I want the smoke. But I guess I should say, ranking those 3 teams, I have the Pacers as the team that I would be most nervous about over the Pistons and the Bucks. I think they're playing really good ball right now. And I think the Pacers have a better chance as currently constituted, obviously if Brunson's back, I think they have a better chance than the Knicks to hang with the Cavs or Boston. And that's why I guess I'm partially nervous about it.
Well, the Knicks play the Pacers. I've already been invited to Indiana to go. First of all, my best friend's out there. And second of all, there's a married couple, they're Pacer fans who got season tickets. They come all the time with their dog, Wolf. Shout out to Wolfie. They're like, hey, you want to come on out? Well, we'll take you. I said, yeah, as long as you got a police escort for me in and out the stadium, at the arena, I'm good.
TIO Al Friends from the Field House in Indiana.
Oh, I don't know if Knicks versus Hicks. We revisited Knicks versus Hicks. Oh, shit.
How many bedrooms they got at that house? The 3 of us, road trip. Let's go.
Hey, listen, their Instagram, they're balling, they're living it up. But I know when the Knicks played the Pacers with the Melo team, me and my boy Eddie, a couple of us, we were gonna rent 2 SUVs, drive to Indiana, and get tickets to Game 6. You know how much it was to get in the building for I think it was Game 6. Yeah, you know how much it was to get in the building per ticket?
Under 100.
$15.
No way.
$15 to get in the building for Game 6. You know how much it was to get in the Garden? Game 6, Game 5, Miami Heat, Brunson. We played the whole game.
$1,500.
$300 a pop. Just $300 a pop, and I did it on Klarna.
I'm so glad that I bought that year we played the Hawks. I know it was a terrible. I was there for the lose, like Game 5.
So was I.
I'm glad I got those tickets because those were like $110. Like, and I just know that I'm probably never going to a Knicks game on my own dime again in the playoffs because I don't got that kind of money, unless somebody gifts me a ticket, Alex Cohen, if James Dolan wants to give, you want to open up the DM so I can ask.
I do it on Klarna. That's the only way I'm gonna do it. I didn't go to a playoff game last year. I'm dying to be in the building for a playoff game this year, especially if it's the Celtics. I got to figure that out, man, for sure. And I'm not asking Alex Cohen or James Dolan but we don't get any credentials, right, for that?
No comment.
No.
Oh, I think I know. I already know. All right, never mind. I already know.
Also, shout out to Hector. It is true. No good Chinese food in Indiana.
Is that what you wrote? Is that what he said?
He did. I'll say this though, and this is going to be telling on myself a little bit. I've never been to a Knicks playoff game.
Oh, what? Well, dude, that's not honestly. I'm not even gonna front on you. Like before,
it's so expensive, bro.
Well, there hasn't been many.
True. Also true. I was in high school before the last couple of years, but the last time they were in the playoffs.
I got to go to 2 Met games last year and that one Knick game. Otherwise, I've only been to NYCFC playoff games.
I was at that Hawks Knicks game. I was at that Hawks Knicks game when you had to wear a mask when they lost, and I put on the mask and Knicks in 7. Well, I fucking threw that mask in the garbage. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I was crying. I was like, thanks, D-Rose, for such a great season.
Oh man! Oh wait. Question for the Pandas: you guys think if I ask the Coens for Knicks tickets, they will give me some? You know what? Not asking anything Met related. Shoot your shot. But do it in person, man. Do it in person. So, the NFL draft is coming up. We'll get into that in the next show. It's finally here, draft month. We'll do the Giants because I honestly think Shedeur Sanders is going to end up a Jet, but we'll do that. Because he's slipping. The Raiders got Geno Smith. They locked him up for 2 years. Pats don't need a QB. Jags don't need a QB. The Titans they're going to take Cam Ward. I think the Browns are going to end up taking Abdul Carter. The Giants are going to get Travis Hunter, and then he's going to go to the Jets. That's what I think is going to happen.
I have to become a Jets fan.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. Obviously not. I would never do that to myself. But it's I would root for him though. I'll be honest. I'm gonna root for him basically at this point, no matter where he goes, because I just want to see anybody who gets ultimate hate when they're still in college like that. I kind of want to see them succeed. I love the people who get the hate early and overcome it, and then the opposite is the people who get no hate and then don't make it to the mountaintop and then start getting hate. That's the Trevor Lawrence kind of thing. Like he got no hate in college, right? Trevor Lawrence was a dog.
He got hate from me.
In college?
Yep, because I said he was going to be a bust.
Damn. Well, I hate to say that you were right. Well, it's not over yet. I still got some stock left of Trevor Lawrence. But wait,
it was saying generational talent, and I was like, I don't see it.
Yeah, and Herbert as well. 2 guys I got stock with. 2 pretty white boys with long hair. I'm freaking out here. Like watching my stock plummet like the damn Dow Jones right now.
He likes the quarterbacks that look like Edie Falco.
Oh, the dog.
Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Dow Jones down a lot of points. All right. One last question before I know you're about to close up. Final 4 this weekend. Y'all got any predictions for that before we say goodbye?
Oh, Auburn.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my for the jump. It's my brackets. I got Duke and Florida. I got Florida winning. I think 81-74 is my final score I picked in the brackets. But I got Florida minus the 2.5 and Duke minus the 5.5 versus Houston.
if I'm correct, I know they beat Florida. I'm pretty sure Auburn beat Duke earlier this year. I really like them. If you look at their what they've gone through this year, I think they won like a ridiculous amount of games against ranked teams.
Mhm.
Like I really like them. They were my pick originally. Honestly, outside of St. John's, I got the Final Four what I thought it was going to be. But that's another topic for another day. But I like Auburn. I think depth wise, they're great. I know everyone's really fallen in love with Mark Clayton and then obviously Cooper Flagg. I really feel like Auburn is the best team all around, defensively, offensively, does the dirty things, has been battle tested. So I really like them this weekend. I think they have the worst odds to win also.
Yeah, they do, because they stuttered into the tournament a little bit, right? So they
lost 3 in a row. They lost 3 in a row. They lost 3 in a row. Yeah.
Right. That's why they got the overall number 1 seed, but they kind of fluttered in, which is, I think, why people were down on them. They're my pick for the championship as well, by the way, Gallo. And Janai Broom is a guy who I don't actually have a lot of faith in at the next level. I don't think he's going to be much. He's projected first round, late first round, whatever. Don't love his prospects in the NBA, but he's the type of dude in college who can roll through a defense because he's got that hook shot. He's got a great pass out of the double, in the post down there. So I do like Auburn too. I think I'm leaning that way. And I do like in a tournament of no upsets, and you can't really call a 1 seed an upset or a Cinderella necessarily. But at this point, they would kind of be upsetting people if they beat Florida and they beat Duke. I'm rolling with Auburn as well.
It's been the most boring tournament I can remember in my lifetime because of NILs. It is what it is. There's no more. McNeese was the biggest upset. Then after that, there's nothing. And this tournament has had no juice to it, except for a couple of buzzer beaters. But other than that, I've been disappointed. And it's the first tournament I haven't hit any bets in my whole life.
That's why you're disappointed. No, but honestly, though, I got to say, I don't really care about the Cinderella thing because I do think that Cinderellas are overrated, generally speaking. I love that we got a bunch of big dogs, a bunch of big programs late into this tournament. It's just been not close games. That's the problem. These 1 seeds have been too good. And that was kind of the insight coming into this tournament, that the 1 seeds are that much better than everybody else. If we had a few closer games in that Sweet 16, Elite 8 range, I think we'd be talking different about this tournament because it's a lot of great talent out there.
Yeah, the Florida comeback and the Texas Tech Arkansas game were like the only games that were really exciting. I can't point to just NIL because 2 years ago we had a 16 upset of 1, and St. Peter's went on the run. I disagree with Pete. I do think it's not the Cinderellas, it's the drama. Like it doesn't have to. It has to be drama somewhere. And to both of your points, they've been a lot of duds. And on the women's side too, there's been a lot of duds. And it's not the fact that chalk is winning; it's the fact that they're blowing teams out.
Right.
Well, Juju Watkins getting hurt really killed
that tournament because she is awesome. Like
that would have been it would have been UConn USC matchup would have
an actually good matchup too, where it's 2 good teams and not just 1 good player versus a good team.
I think the women's tournament, though, I think they actually benefit from some of the lack of early round upsets because you do see typically, some of the best teams ever having battles in the Final Four. And maybe if this Final Four is electric, it could save this whole tournament, right? Like if this Final Four lives up to the billing and Duke doesn't just roll through everybody and win by 20 for the next 2 games here, this could change the entire memory on this tournament. We can say this is one of the best tournaments ever if we have a great Final Four and a great finals.
It's the only thing we're going to remember because outside of upsets, we don't really ever remember anything prior. Like we will forget, eventually we'll just, St. John's, great season. We won't even remember what happened against Arkansas. We'll move past that. And so that's also what, for me, as somebody who loves college basketball, that kind of killed me too, because I couldn't even enjoy the rest of that weekend after they lost.
I mean, let me just say this, because before we go, I had TCU women -7.5 versus Texas, so I watched some of that. I may try to say this as nicely as possible. That was some of the worst basketball I've ever watched in my life. It was horrendous. And when I say some of the worst basketball, I'm talking about layups hitting underneath the basket, the backboard. I'm talking about layups hitting the top of the backboard and not touching the rim. I'm talking about layups hitting the glass and not even touching the rim. I'm talking to air balls. It was this Haley, whatever her name is from TCU that everybody's blah, 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 blah. Holy crap. Just play her left hand. That's all she's doing is left. I'm like, what is the big deal about this woman? Hey, I didn't see anything.
They don't care about her basketball game, bro.
Well, and TCU's got who's it? Sedona Prince, who's been like in college for like 9 years. She's like the tight end. Yeah, she's like the tight end from Miami, who was in school for like 7 years.
Oh yeah, she fouled out of the game. And that was a big deal. But that was that was one of the ugliest basketball games either at a playground or on the TV I've ever watched in my life. It was that bad.
And one more, this one right here, Al. I need your opinion on it.
Who wins? Okay, I have two scenarios. One, Cena wins, or two, Rhodes really does sell his soul to The Rock. He's the one who sells his soul.
I like it.
That's
the
the whole
two scenarios. One wins or the other one wins?
No, where Cena wins the title and he breaks the record, or Cody Rhodes wins because he's the one who sells his soul to The Rock. So I don't know what's gonna happen with CM Punk. I don't know what's gonna happen. Are they gonna put him in this this match for number one contender spot? And he's gonna wrestle in that triple threat with Gunther and Jey Uso. Or I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm more interested in that storyline than
I love Uso.
Yeah, but I want to see what happens with Punk in a triple threat with Heyman. But this Cena Rhodes thing, it could go either way. I would be nice to see him break the record, so I don't have to Ric Flair anymore. And it's fucking, I'm tired of Ric Flair. Enough with 16 time. Woo! Enough. Cena's earned it. All the Make-A-Wish shit he's done and all that stuff. He's earned the right to be the 7th. He's been a corporate guy forever. He's been a company guy forever. He deserves that.
The one thing I wish they would have did. You guys remember the Chappelle Show skit when he's playing the video games with the fatally sick kid and he's talking shit to him and kicking his ass? I wish they could never do it, but I wish that WWE had some balls on one of these.
Make-A-Wish?
Yeah, Make-A-Wish, but where he's just like he pushes a kid in a wheelchair down the steps or something. Like complete heel turn. They can never do it because so many kids do still love him. But man, would that be excellent television?
Vince would do it. Vince would have called for it. That piece of shit. He would have done it. But anything you guys want to plug before we go?
Sunday morning, maybe Saturday night, depending on if the Final Four games end. I'll be hosting Pete, driving the ship behind the glass. So I got that. Check out. I've done a couple interviews on the Fan. If you like the MLS, I know crickets, but if you like the MLS, I've done a couple interviews with the MLS. But yeah, tune in Sunday morning, 12 to 5, maybe, or right after the tip, the final whistle in the Final Four games.
You're not till 6? I thought you were till 6.
No, well, I hope it's not.
Who's going on?
I did the midnight to 6. I did a 6-hour show.
I think it's till 5. Now you got me a little nervous.
I mean, I'm producing till 6 no matter what. So call up 1-888-808-1019. Talk to me before you talk to Gallo. And then Subway Sports Talk. Always podcast app, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Subway Sports Talk. We're pumping out content there as well. I had Connor Green on this week to talk some baseball. Right. Me and Connor ripped some baseball takes on Subway Sports Talk. So check that out.
Buff Bagwell. Call Connor Buff Bagwell. That's what I call him every time I got an interview for him when he's behind the glass for me. I'm on Sunday after the Nets post game until 10 p.m. So I actually get to watch the Final Four and sleep and then rested. And then on Sunday night after the Nets post game until 10 p.m. on the Fan, 888-808-1019. We'll be back next Thursday. If anybody's going to be at opening day, if you see me, say hello. Don't be afraid. I don't bite. Gallo will be there as well. I'll see you at the stadium tomorrow, Gallo, for sure. Pete, you know what to do, baby.
Wash yes.